I'm James Turk. I'm a director of the Gold Money Foundation, and I'm here today with Barbara Kohm of the Friedrich von Hayek Institute and the Austrian Economic Center here in Vienna, Austria. Barbara, it's a pleasure to be here with you today. I'd like to talk a little bit about the Hayek Institute first, and then also the Austrian Economic Center. Can you tell us a little bit about those two organizations?
Well, with pleasure, thanks. Thank you, James. It's good to be here with you. First of all, our foremost task is to bring back the Austrians to Austria. You know, the Hayek Institute has the cradle here in Vienna, and it was also founded by Hayek himself 1 year before he passed away. But the big tradition that we have in Austria has been forgotten when all the Austrians had left in the 30s. Finally, now we have to bring it back, and this is our task, which we do, and we have become more successful with that in the past years.
Mm-hmm. Is the Austrian Economic Center part of the Hayek Institute?
Well, the Austrian Economic Center is a completely independent entity, and the Austrian Economic Center is operating internationally. We also do have a friends organization in the United States, whereas the Hayek Institute is just operating here in Austria, in Vienna, and the center, the Austrian Center, operates throughout Europe until the Far East, until Baku, Tbilisi, Istanbul, all these places.
Wherever the internet reaches, that's where the Austrian Economic Center reaches then as well.
That's true.
What's the website for the Austrian Economic Center?
The website is www.austriancenter.com.
Center, C-E-N-T-E-R?
Yes.
.com, okay.
Yeah.
What has been the reception here in Vienna for the Austrian school?
Well,
is it making inroads again, or?
Yes, it does. I mean, we have been preaching for the past 10 years that what has happened or currently will happen. So we told them in 2000 and earlier on that we are having bubbles, not only the financial bubble, but especially the sovereign debt bubble that will sooner or later burst. We've been doing that for nearly 10 years now, and the bubbles are bursting, and people, especially politicians, finally have to understand that the Austrian school is right with what they have predicted and what they teach. Mm-hmm. And consequently, we find a better reception of the teachings.
Are you also finding that in academic circles, or is it only in political circles so far?
Unfortunately, academics still tend to believe in Keynesian economics and neoclassical economics, but I assume that sooner or later, due to the facts and figures that we are being faced with, academics in Europe will have to rethink.
Mm-hmm. What about the population as a whole? Are people starting to inquire about the Austrian school and their line of thinking, or is the population pretty much still isolated from Austrian thought?
Well, this is the good thing about the Austrian school and about the Austrian school of thought. It's down to earth. It's easy to understand. It has the individual as the key element. Mm-hmm. And this is what it is all about, individual freedom and our right to make our own decisions. And we don't like big government. And this is what the individual, the citizen, finally understands, that government is taking away his money, is spending it not very wisely, and now they realize, oh, we need to stop that. So they understand it from a very practical point of view, maybe not directly correlating it to the Austrian school, but this is our task. So we tell them, this is happening, these are the facts and the figures, and this is the theory behind it. And combine the two of those things, and you will have a sound economy and citizens that are better off in the end.
Yeah, you make a good point. You know, one of the things I always like to say is that the Austrian school is built on logic and common sense, not mathematical models.
Exactly.
You know, and after all, Mises, the title of his great book is Human Action, which is really what it's all about, you know, at the individual level. And I think, you know, if people are willing to look at a logical, common sense approach, it seems inevitable that the Austrian school will come to the forefront. What about the media attention? You know, it would seem that, you know, given the fact that this is the birthplace of Austrian economics, that the media would be quite interested in the historical context.
They are getting more interested, and due to all the attention we get abroad, because especially in the new European member states, in Eastern European countries, the Austrian school is much more embraced. Also in the practical political world, people understand the concepts there, and they understand that big government is definitely not the solution, that they need to downsize things. So journalists actually right now see what is going on, what goes wrong, and they ask the right questions, or at least they are beginning to ask the right questions. Mm-hmm. And this helps us, and they get a better understanding.
Mm-hmm. Is your organization specifically work with journalists and the media in order to help them understand what the Austrian school is all about?
We do provide them with special information, of course, but if you talk about that, that's actually something that we intend to do and start for 2012, start a journalists educating program based actually at the Hayek Hall here in Vienna. And it's good that you mentioned this. This is going to start in January 28th.
Okay, and given that we're here at the Go Ahead Business Summit in Vienna, I assume participating in conferences is another way of reaching out to business leaders as well?
Yeah, that's true. So what Go Ahead does here in Vienna, and especially Niki Kimler has provided, is reaching out to a group that actually, as a citizen, with their hearts, have understood and have embraced the Austrian theory. Because what does an entrepreneur do? He acts responsibly and he takes his own risk. And he understands that he cannot spend more money than he has. And this is actually the Austrian concept, and this is what they do on an entrepreneurial level and what individuals do. So what we have to do, and this is our task, to transport and translate this to public policy. Mm-hmm. And this is what we do together.